Bonjour, bonjour à tous, good morning everyone. Avant de commencer, j'aimerais juste donner pour quelques secondes la parole à Madame l'ambassadeur de France, très chère amie Véronique, qui voudrait faire une annonce aux participants. Madame l'ambassadeur, la parole est à vous.
Merci Monsieur le Président, cher Samir, chers tous, mille pardons de vous embêter encore avec la baguette, mais la boulangerie Hamoud vous a distribué ce matin une baguette sur vos bureaux à tous et je voulais les remercier, les féliciter encore et vous remercier tous. Merci.
Merci beaucoup et bravo à la boulangerie Hamoud. Merci Véronique. Merci, merci infiniment.
So again, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. To start with, I wish to highlight that we have over 1,000 people registered as participants at this session of the committee, representing 132 countries, which is indicative of worldwide interest in living heritage. Could I remind participants who have not yet registered to please register online on the 17.com website. You can find the link on the dedicated 17.com website. We worked hard to advance with item 7B yesterday, and I congratulate all states who had their files inscribed. It was wonderful to see the communities and bearers celebrating with us in this room. Before we start our session, I would like to inform you that the Bureau met this morning to discuss several issues, namely the revision of the timetable of the committee's work. The revised timetable is currently being published on the dedicated 17.com website. The proposal is that we will try to finish all nominations under items 7B, 7C, and 7D today. Even if we manage this heavy workload, the Bureau is quite concerned that the committee's work has fallen so behind schedule that it may not be able to complete the examination of all items before the close of the meeting on Saturday. So I would like to underline that meeting today's schedule is a really daunting task. Therefore, I count on your support and kindly ask committee members to limit the length of their interventions as much as possible. Coming back to item 7B, we adjusted yesterday several times the order in which we examined nominations. We did our best to accommodate as many requests received as possible, particularly to facilitate the presence of community members and heritage bearers. This is a special moment for many of them, and we want to celebrate the inscriptions with them present in the room. I thank you again for your understanding when these changes are made. Overnight, we have received specific requests from the United Arab Emirates to have their file examined early today, so we'll start with them. Okay. Okay, now we are ready to start the session. So as I mentioned, we will begin by United Arab Emirates this morning. It's Al-Tali Traditional Embroidery Skills in the United Arab Emirates.
Et j'aimerais demander à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter le dossier. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The next file is Al-Tali, Traditional Embroidery Skills in the United Arab Emirates, submitted by United Arab Emirates. Tali is a traditional handicraft practiced in various parts of the United Arab Emirates. It refers to the art of embroidering women's clothes using brightly colored threads neatly into the sleeves and other parts of female robes. The element helps the combating of unemployment by providing income for practitioners and jobs in associate areas, such as the selling of tali threads to fashion and tailors' houses. The tally craft has a cultural dimension that entails inscriptions, shapes, and colors. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria. However, the body noted that it will be important for the state party to monitor the unintended impacts of the elements inscription, and in particular, the risk of over-commercialization, and ensure that the communities concerned fully understand the purpose of the objectives of the representative list. In conclusion, the evaluation body recommends the inscription of the element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Merci beaucoup à l'organe d'évaluation pour la présentation du dossier. J'aimerais que nous allions directement à la décision 17.com 7.b32. Est-ce que la décision pourrait être affichée? Voilà, projet de décision 17.com 7.b.32. Pouvons-nous l'adopter tel qu'elle apparaît sur vos écrans? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Je considère la décision 17.com 7b.32 comme étant adoptée. Félicitations aux Émirats arabes unis. Excellency, I think there is a video, but Excellency, if you wish to take the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for giving us the floor. Excellencies, dear colleagues, the UAE would like to begin with expressing its gratitude to the Intergovernmental Committee for the safeguarding of the intangible cultural heritage for its concerned efforts in raising the profile of intangible cultural heritage globally. The committee has fulfilled an indispensable role in enhancing international cooperation through the evaluation of nominated files and their establishment in the UNESCO list of intangible cultural heritage. The committee work is a compelling example of how it is possible to highlight our shared heritage as nations through joint files while celebrating our unique diversities through national files. Preserving these elements ultimately sheds light on our humanity. It is also fundamental in the pillar that moves us towards global sustainable development, as it helps us foster peace and a better understanding of our nation's heritage grows with each inscription. The UAE once again thanks the committee and the state parties for their support in including our files at the national and joint levels. El Telli is now the 14th file that the UAE has inscribed on the list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity and our 4th national file. El Telli represents traditional, decorative handicraft in the UAE that produces exquisite embroidered textiles used to embellish different types of traditional clothes for women. It has not only involved intricate artistic and technical skills, but it also builds on a generational knowledge that has been examined among Emirati women across the country. We hope that through the inscription of El Telli, we can further shed light on the richness of Emirati cultural heritage. On a closing note, this year particularly symbolizes one of importance to us as the UAE celebrates its 50th anniversary of its membership to UNESCO. The UAE has always been committed in contributing to the organization's mission in advancing the cultural, educational, and scientific fields. We look forward to continuing to support the committee's work by mutual cooperation with fellow member states, one that is built on the principles of knowledge exchange and common goods. Thank you.
Congratulations once again.
هاي تخدم تلي، هاي تخدم بدلة، حد يسوي عقم مال الكنادير. الثوب يعني حد يلبسه بالتلي أو حد يلبسه بالخوار بالتول.
Nous passons maintenant au dossier présenté par le Kazakhstan, Orteke Traditional Performing Art in Kazakhstan, Dance, Puppet and Music. And I would like to ask the evaluation body to present the file. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Good morning. The next file is Orteke, Traditional Performing Art in Kazakhstan, Dance, Puppet and Music submitted by Kazakhstan. The element is an indigenous performing art that combines theatre, music and puppetry. This folk art entails a music performance with a dombria, a traditional two-stringed instrument, and a dance performed by a wooded puppet. After initiating a dialogue process on criterion R3 related to the participation of the community in planning and implementing safeguarding measures, the evaluation body considered that criterion R1, R2, R4, and R5 are met, but that the information provided after the dialogue is not sufficient to determine whether criteria R3 is satisfied. Specifically, the body noted that in the file there are insufficient details about the participation and roles of the community in the planning and implementation of the proposed safeguarding measures. And the state party didn't provide the requested clarification during the dialogue process. In conclusion, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Le secrétariat a reçu, concernant ce projet de décision, un amendement de la part de l'Inde. Donc, je demanderai à l'Inde de présenter l'amendement et si on pouvait afficher le projet de décision. Ok. La parole est à Monsieur l'ambassadeur de l'Inde.
Thank you, Excellency. This element is very important for the culture and the people of Kazakhstan. Central Asian republics are very close to India. Excellency, it gives me great pride and pleasure to sponsor this amendment on behalf of Kazakhstan. Excellency, as I had spoken before in the Persian language to support the Iranian nomination, please give me your indulgence as I try for the very first time in my life to attempt to speak and introduce this element and one sentence in the Kazakh language. The sentence will read as, we value the 2003 Convention and the intangible cultural heritage of Kazakhstan. Biz yeke min ushinsha zulga konvensiyana zanya Kazakhstanya material de emies madeni murasan jogur baglaimas. Thank you, Excellency. In line with the guidelines outlined by the Chair, I shall first briefly explain the rationale of the proposed amendment and then request the State Party of Kazakhstan to respond to my query. At the outset, kindly allow me to thank the esteemed evaluation body for their hard work and the valuable insights that they have provided on this file, namely Orteke, Traditional Performing Art in Kazakhstan, Dance, Puppet and Music, file number 01878. As explained by the chairperson of the evaluation body, the file has satisfied 4 criteria, R1, R2, R4, and R5. The issue concerning criteria R3 is related to sufficient details about the participation and roles of the communities, groups, and individuals in the planning and implementation of the safeguarding measures. In this regard, Kazakhstan has shared with us relevant and necessary information focused on ensuring the viability of the element based upon which we believe that criterion R3 is satisfied. We further note that sufficient steps have been undertaken and are planned to be undertaken in the future, ensuring widest possible participation of concerned communities, groups, and individuals in the elaboration and implementation of the proposed safeguarding measures and plans. The nomination file further highlights how the submitting state party uses formal and non-formal means of education as a safeguarding measure to ensure the viability of the element. Notably, on the traditional front, the teaching and transmission takes place in a system based on master and apprentice, locally known as Ustaz Shakir. And on the formal front, the introduction of Orteke in the curriculum of Kokil Arts College. At this point, I would like to ask Kazakhstan to further elaborate to the members of the committee on the steps that it has undertaken and plans to undertake in the future to ensure widest possible participation of the communities in the planning and implementation of safeguarding measures for its element Orteke. Excellency, I take this opportunity now to also mention that the State Party of Slovakia has extended their support to co-sponsor this element as well. Excellency, Mr. Chairperson, my friend, I would request you to kindly give the floor to the State Party of Kazakhstan. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Kazakhstan, you have the floor.
Thank you, dear Mr. Chairman, Si Samir, Votre Excellence. Since this is the first time as my delegation takes the floor, we would like to express our gratitude to the Royal Government of Morocco for its hospitality for the session and the nice opportunity to learn from the diversity of the cultures and its admirable manifestation. We would also like to thank India, which proposed the amendment, and co-sponsoring countries for its generous support to one of the crucial cultural elements of the Kazakh culture, which has been almost under the danger of disappearing by the end of the last century. We took note of the valuable committees of the evaluation body, which is keenly and patiently monitoring the Convention core principles. It's not an easy task, and we highly appreciate that the evaluation body capacity is visibly strengthened since its establishment, and the comments are helpfully guiding the ICH actors as states parties on comprehensive convention implementation. As already mentioned by the distinguished ambassador of India, it were the communities, namely the traditional artists and craftsmen, who indicated to the National Committee, Ministry of Culture, and the National Commission for UNESCO and DCESCO the importance on ensuring the viability of the Orteke. The knowledge and the skills are transferred through the Ustad Shakir local apprentice system. This is exactly communities' direct involvement to the element safeguarding and dissemination. However, it's not yet a part of the national curricula of arts and craftsmen education. Therefore, for the last 2 years, since the nomination has been submitted, the Kokil College and the Jurgenev Academy of Arts incorporated Orteke performance and skills of the puppet making into the curricula of these 2 education institutions as the additional educational disciplines. Now, the next step will be to adopt both disciplines as a part of the basic traditional arts curricula by the Ministries of School Education and Science and Higher Education. The artists and craftsmen communities will design the appropriate curricula and submit it through the educational institution concerned for the government approval. Next important direction of communities' involvement, also mentioned by the evaluation body, is their permanent contribution to the element visibility and transmission. As indicated in response within the dialogue process, Kazakhstan conducts biennial Orteke festivals with invitations of the folk theaters, ethnic musical groups, and individual ICH bearers from 14 countries. This year, several ethnic music groups in Kazakhstan, which are very popular, had made special videos on different ways of OTK performance, which were shown as the national TV channels. The clips were also displayed at the video panels at Kazakhstan airports and railway stations. The ICH leading artists and Korkut folk ensemble already called various art groups and individuals artists to record their OTK performances and share it in social networks. This can be found easily on social media. Now the OTK bearers, with support of the ICH National Committee and in cooperation with the Ministry of Culture and Sports, will promote the activities of the local ethnographic and historical museums in conducting of inventories on OTK performance and skills transfer at local level. Starting from this October, the National Children's Contest on OTK Performance Arts, sponsored by Metropolitan Company, is held to identify best children artworks on OTK. The element bearers and communities will compile and lead the contest jury, and the laureates' works will be widely reproduced within municipal social advertising in the main cities of Astana and Almaty. The Kazakhstan Federation of UNESCO Clubs recently informed ICH National Committee about its intention to conduct the OTK Youth Festival next year, 2023, in order to promote the element and disseminate the knowledge of its origin, history, and actual vivid performance. Finally, the ICH National Committee, in partnership with the National Academy of Science, will coordinate the additional enhanced researches of OTK origin and development. These activities will be conducted by the academic experts communities and in consultation with recognized OTK individual bearers, both artists and craftsmen. The findings will contribute to raise public interest to this important cultural element and serve as part of comprehensive and continuous safeguarding plan. Thank you for your kind attention. Shukran.
Merci beaucoup au Kazakhstan pour ces clarifications, notamment concernant le R3 et les mesures de sauvegarde, et je vous en remercie infiniment. Je ne sais pas si un membre du comité souhaite prendre la parole. J'ai l'Ouzbékistan. Uzbekistan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'll be brief. Let me first of all welcome the submission by Kazakhstan of a nomination dossier for OTK. We reviewed the concern of the evaluation body about the engagement of the communities, groups and individuals in the implementation of the safeguarding measures, as well as clarifications on that matter provided by the state party through the dialogue process. We acknowledge that in the nomination file and the supporting documents, the state party has highlighted the participation of all stakeholders, including local communities, in planning and realization of safeguarding measures. All arguments are important. Meanwhile, I would like to draw your attention to the work of a research group specifically established for studying and transmitting this element. What we have learned from the document is that this research group unites scholars, independent researchers, element bearers, and practitioners, relevant participants who devoted themselves in preserving OTK. What is essential, the state party has introduced the traditional teaching methods based on master and apprentice system known as usta shagird. We in Uzbekistan broadly practice this method. Throughout years, it proved to be one of the best instruments when it comes to the transmission of knowledge from the elder generation to the younger, no matter what kind of intangible heritage it is. We have already informed about our intention to co-sponsor of the amendment proposed by India and supported by many other members of the committee. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Uzbekistan. Now I'm giving the floor to Saudi Arabia, to be followed by Morocco.
Thank you.
Your Highness, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be very quick. We'd like first to thank Kazakhstan for the clarifications related to issues in reference to Criterion 2. They provided information on how communities participated in planning and implementing the safeguarding measures. Saudi Arabia is already a co-sponsor of the amendments presented kindly by India. But maybe, Mr. Chair, for the sake of time, if we can just move to the DR, there seems to be a wide support for the inscription of this file. And so that we can move forward with other files. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Madame l'ambassadeur. Je vais quand même passer la parole au Maroc pour rapidement, s'il vous plaît, et puis on passera directement à l'adoption de la décision.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Non, je serai très rapide. Donc, nous remercions l'Inde pour son amendement et un amendement que nous soutenons fortement. Nous sommes convaincus par les arguments donnés par l'État soumissionnaire, le Kazakhstan, notamment en lien avec le critère 3 et les mesures de sauvegarde envisagées. Donc, ma délégation est favorable à l'inscription de cet élément sur la liste représentative du PCA. Et nous souhaitons aussi être un co-auteur de ce projet de décision. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, le Maroc. Donc, nous passons directement à l'adoption de la décision. Si vous voulez bien l'afficher, s'il vous plaît. Merci. Est-ce que vous pourriez faire défiler comme ça? Je vous propose, pour gagner du temps, de l'adopter directement dans sa globalité. Oui. On va juste lire les pays qui soutiennent l'amendement. Botswana, which take the floor. La République tchèque. Le Botswana et la République tchèque soutiennent également. La Slovaquie, bien sûr, soutient. L'Éthiopie soutient. Je vais lire les pays qui soutiennent et vous me corrigerez si, évidemment, il y a d'autres pays. Le Paraguay. Donc l'Inde, le Bangladesh, le Brésil, la Côte d'Ivoire, la Malaisie, la Mauritanie, le Maroc, le Panama, le Pérou, la République de Corée, l'Arabie Saoudite, l'Ouzbékistan, le Botswana, la République tchèque, la Slovaquie, l'Éthiopie, le Paraguay, le Burkina Faso et la Suisse. Et le Vietnam, donc l'ensemble du comité. Merci infiniment. Donc, est-ce que je peux vous demander de bien vouloir adopter la décision dans sa globalité, s'il vous plaît? Tel qu'amendé, évidemment, bien sûr. Et si vous pouvez remonter. La Suède. You wish to take the floor, Sweden? Ah, la Suède, bien sûr. Donc, à rajouter le nom de la Suède aux États qui soutiennent l'amendement. Merci beaucoup. Voilà. Est-ce que nous pouvons adopter cette décision? Si vous pouviez remonter en haut, s'il vous plaît. Voilà. Donc, vu que tout le monde soutient, donc je déclare la décision 17.com 7.b.20 comme étant adoptée. Félicitations au Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan, you have the floor.
Thank you for giving me the floor, Mr. Chairperson, Excellencies, distinguished members of the committee. I would like to convey my deep appreciation to the committee members who supported our nomination and the evaluation body for a thorough assessment of the nomination file. Let me especially thank India for submitting very draft amendments and all colleagues and partners and friends for co-sponsoring the draft. Orteke is an indigenous Kazakh performing art which starts its history centuries ago in the nomadic steppes of Central Asia and is an important part of the region's folk heritage and national identity. Orteke was almost forgotten and only survived thanks to a number of master craftsmen and puppeteers who preserved tradition and passed it on. Today, we observe revival of Orteke art, and today's inscription to the list of Intangible Cultural Heritage of UNESCO would certainly contribute to its further promotion. Orteke is considered as one of the first puppet culture of the nomadic tribes in Central Asia. It also symbolizes that the life of human being is inextricably linked with the nature and thus contributing to the protection of nature and sustainable livelihoods. Orteke facilitated intergenerational communications. It awakened the interest of children towards music and musical instruments, and has an educational meaning where adults teach the youth techniques of playing string instruments and construct orteke. Therefore, it is not only musical performance, but an art and educational work. Taking this opportunity, we invite all participants to discover the traditional Kazakh puppet musical performance art of orteke in our country. We thank you all for your support and your kind attention. Thank you. Shukran.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Congratulations. Nous passons maintenant au dossier présenté par l'Iran, le Tadjikistan et l'Ouzbékistan sous la référence 17.com 7.b.17 et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter le dossier. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next file is Art of Crafting and Playing Rubab, submitted by the Islamic Republic of Iran, Tajikistan and Uzbekistan. The element is a traditional short naked string instrument that has been used in Central Asia for thousands of years. Made from apricot, mulberry, or other woods, the size and shape can vary within and across countries. Ensembles and folk groups play the instrument during holidays, celebrations, social events, and family rituals. The evaluation body considered that only one criterion, R5, is met, but the information provided is not sufficient to determine whether criteria R1, R2, R3, and R4 are satisfied. The file provides three different and separate descriptions of the element, three different and separate descriptions of the knowledge and skill associated with it, and three different and separate descriptions of the social function and cultural meanings. The separate description from each country, also related to the safeguarding issues, made it difficult to evaluate the file and to determine the multinational aspect of the nomination and the element. The evaluation body reminds that a multinational file has to be the consequence of a multinational work. And during this session was inscribed and will be inscribed several good examples on this direction. In conclusion, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state party. Thank you very much.
Oui, merci beaucoup. Est-ce que nous pourrions, vu que le secrétariat n'a pas reçu de demande de présentation d'amendement, donc est-ce que nous pourrions passer directement à la décision, s'il vous plaît? Voilà, c'est le projet de décision 17.com 7.b.17. Est-ce que nous pouvons l'adopter dans sa globalité, as a whole? Il n'y a pas d'objection. Donc je considère la décision comme étant adoptée. Nous passons maintenant à l'élément présenté par la Roumanie et la République de Moldavie sous la référence 17.com 7.b.23 The Art of the Traditional Blues with Embroidery on the Shoulder, Altita,
an element of cultural identity in Romania and the Republic of Moldova, and I would like to ask the evaluation body to present the file. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next file, as you said, is submitted by Romania and the Republic of Moldova. The art of traditional blues with embroidery on the shoulder is an essential part of Romanian and Moldovan folk dress for men and women. It juxtaposes a simple cut with rich and colorful ornamentation that are stitched using complex sewing techniques. The evaluation body considered that criteria R1, R4, and R5 are met, but the information provided is not sufficient to determine whether criteria R2 and R3 are satisfied. The file explained that the communities are involved in past and current efforts to safeguard the element. However, the file does not adequately explain the role of the concerned community in both submitting states in terms of planning and implementing the proposed safeguarding measures. In conclusion, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup à l'organe d'évaluation. Le bureau a reçu un amendement proposé par l'Arabie Saoudite. Donc, je me demanderai à Madame l'ambassadeur de bien vouloir présenter l'amendement. La parole est à vous.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. After a fruitful dialogue with the submitting states and further clarification on the mentioned criteria, it became clear that the art of the traditional blouse with embroidery on the shoulder, altita, displays a cultural and social code that is common to other elements of living heritage and valuable for the local communities, groups, and individuals, as well as the making of it contributing to cultural creativity. Being a multinational file, the two submitting states are committed to work together on measures to safeguard the element through activities and programs and manage risks and threats after the inscription, involving communities, groups, and individuals to ensure craftsmen's viability for the sake of all citizens wearing or admiring the blouse. Moreover, regarding the note on gender segregation, nowadays in the current forms of the craftsmanship, it includes both women and men, which are closely connected with the various phases of making the blouses, selling them, and revealing their cultural messages. Mr. Chair, although we are convinced that this file meets all criteria, we would also like the state parties to give further clarification to the member states with regard to the direct involvement of communities, groups, and individuals in the planning and implementation of the measures designed to safeguard the element. And if you allow me, Mr. Chair, I will just have one note to share with my fellow colleagues today at this esteemed committee. Yesterday, I met a very interesting heritage figure in Romania. And in asking her, what does this embroidery mean? What does it mean to you and to the people of these two nations? She answered with a very interesting question. She said, these embroidery carry a story of life. It is used for protection, for fertility, for prosperity. And when asked, can you summarize this in one sentence? She said, it is a temple carried by its own bearer. Nowadays, this tradition is being carried because it is truly a living heritage. Traditionally, these blouses used to be burned after they were used. Why they are here today? Because they are living heritage, generation after generation. They have transmitted this great knowledge to others, and that's why we see it today, and we see it worn by the two member states here today, beautifully done. And I would kindly ask all member states to consider inscribing this file because it truly satisfies the criteria. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Je vais donner la parole à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie, et puis nous passerons évidemment la parole aux membres du comité s'ils le souhaitent, avant la décision. La parole est à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie.
Mr. President, thank you very much. As a humble ambassador, I will invite our expert Ioana Repchuk Baskerville to tell you a few more things about our treasure.
Thank you. Thank you, Your Highness, for your question, and especially for the attention that you devoted to understanding our element and reading our file. I have to stress from the very beginning that the idea of nominating this element was brought to us 5 years ago by groups and associations of practitioners and admirers of this craft in our two countries. It was their need and their wish and aspiration to have this craft acknowledged by you today as a strong message of their cultural identity and daily practice. We are here today thanks to their constant belief in the capacity of the element to be indeed representative for living heritage in Romania and the Republic of Moldova. We are here only as messengers of our bearers and practitioners, of our civil society, and it is for their benefit that we ask to be listened and supported. As the nomination file literally points out, these people play an important role in preserving and developing the tradition of sewing, embroidering. They constantly create and innovate thanks to their thorough knowledge of techniques and their own talent. And because it was so strongly stated in the other days of this committee, by especially the representative of the evaluation body, that using only information in the nomination file for decision-making is the fair approach, let me just read more from the nomination file. Craftswomen have proposed local and regional measures and activities for the safeguarding plan, such as collaborations with local museums and educational establishments, editing promotional materials, participating in fairs and other exhibitions, together with their apprentices, and so on. Therefore, the safeguarding plan that we fully support as state representatives, and that was also mentioned in the proposed amendment that you can see in the future, is the result of this broad bottom-up approach and community-driven movement that we actively encouraged at every step in the nomination process. Now it is your turn, hopefully, and it is in your power to do the same and give these craftspeople the encouragement they expect. Thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup aux experts des États soumissionnaires. Je voudrais féliciter Son Altesse pour la présentation avec le cœur toujours de l'élément. Merci, parce que vous nous avez profondément touché. La parole maintenant est au Vietnam, qui sera suivi de la République tchèque, je pense. À la République de Corée, pardon. L'Éthiopie. Non, République tchèque, Ouzbékistan. Slovaquie. Malaisie. Éthiopie. On va relire. Le Maroc. Maroc. Donc je vais relire la liste des speakers. Le Vietnam, la République de Corée, l'Éthiopie, la République tchèque, l'Ouzbékistan, l'Éthiopie, la Malaisie et le Maroc. La parole est au Vietnam.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Vietnam apprécie le travail de l'organe d'évaluation et nous sommes tout à fait d'accord avec l'Arabie saoudite. Le Vietnam supporte l'inscription de cet élément à la liste représentative et nous trouvons que ce dossier satisfait aux 5 critères. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, le Vietnam. La parole est à la République de Corée. You have the floor, Excellency.
Thank you very much, Chair. We carefully read the nomination file and we just heard the moving anecdote told by the distinguished ambassador of Saudi Arabia. We are convinced by the enthusiasm, the relevant communities cherishing the element as the essence of their cultural identity. We are one of the co-sponsors of the amendment, which will come up later. I would like to hear more about the role of communities in planning their safeguarding measures if these are not incorporated, if there are something that are not incorporated in the nomination file. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Madame l'ambassadeur. La parole est à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie.
Thank you, dear Ambassador. I cannot stress enough, me as an expert who followed closely the nomination process, the importance that we try to give to communities, groups and individuals which are so passionate about creating this blouse. And this started actually in 2003 with a movement that was initiated by NGOs and cultural associations, and then continued with the involvement of craftspeople in our both countries. I have to stress that in our countries, the practitioners are grouped into main categories. The ones that are making the blouse as a main source of livelihood, which is the category of craftspeople, and they are the main bearers of the element, and they were very much included in the nomination file. And what we call the non-professionals, individuals, who are creating the blouse, sewing it themselves to wear it, and obviously for their family members. Since it is the people from these two categories who are making it and cherishing it, they will indeed be the main actors in the process of implementing the safeguarding measures, if your decision will be favorable to this inscription. Thank you.
Merci infiniment aux États soumissionnaires. Donc je poursuis sur ma liste d'intervenants. La parole est à l'Éthiopie. Ethiopia, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First, I would like the submitting states, state parties, Romania as well as the Republic of Moldova, for bringing into attention such an intangible cultural heritage, which is widespread in different forms and found in different parts of the world, but given little attention. And then also I would like to appreciate the amendment by Her Highness the Ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Having said that, for the submitting parties, I would like them to briefly reflect upon to what extent are the bearers and promoters of the element in your country ready to face the possible risk after its inscription on the representative list. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à l'Éthiopie. Donc je redonne la parole à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and thank you to the distinguished delegate of Ethiopia. I have to say that awareness raising and educational events we will organize after the inscription at the national and even international level, and they will be led by bearers in order for them to highlight the complex crafting mechanism of our embroidery and sewing, and to transmit it to new apprentices and to the general audience in Romania and Moldova, which is very interested in understanding more about this element. During the consultations and discussions that were carried out during the nomination process, the bearers emphasized their willingness to support the dynamic nature of this element and get fully involved in the process of heritage-sensitive design, as long as they would be done with respect to the features of the element as it was inherited within the communities. Thank you.
Merci infiniment. Je passe la parole à la République tchèque qui sera suivie de l'Ouzbékistan, la Tchéquie.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Romania, for giving us all these explanations, which are very important for us to understand the participatory manner of planning the safeguarding measures and how they are going to be implemented in the future. And also, you have allowed us to admire the blouse every day by wearing it. We have two more questions. We would like to ask for some more clarifications. It was not clear to us whether the situation of the element is identical in both countries and whether each submitting state has its own safeguarding strategy or whether the safeguarding measures are going to be common for both countries. That is why we would like to ask to better understand the collaborative process and the philosophy behind this safeguarding strategy. If the safeguarding measures are common for both countries, are the activities going to be coordinated and implemented together by Romania and Moldova? I would also like to go back to R2. As for R2, the file explains in rather general terms that at the local and national level, inscription of the element will encourage communities to safeguard the element and encourage greater appreciation of the craftsmanship associated with it, including attracting attention to the young generation. Could Romania and Moldova give us concrete information? How would the inscription raise awareness of ICH in general, as requested by the evaluation body? Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à la République tchèque. Donc je repasse la parole à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie pour pouvoir répondre à la République tchèque. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I very much thank my dear colleague from the delegation of the Czech Republic for the careful reading of our file. The file showcases an element of living heritage, which, like in many of the cases that I'm sure you experienced yourself in the multinational candidacies, transcends political administrative borders. It is a craftsmanship which is actively present in 5 different regions of Romania and in the Republic of Moldova. The similarities of this heritage in the Romanian regions and in the Republic of Moldova are so strong that by their own initiative, groups and associations of craftswomen from these regions, speaking the same language, separated only by administrative borders, have constantly working meetings, fruitful exchange of opinions and knowledge. They participate at trainings and seminars in each other's countries. Even children that are learning to sew the blouse from their family and community participate in this sort of transnational events. The significant common ground, informally ensured by communities, groups, and individuals, determine the 2 states to work together and propose a common safeguarding plan with its national level relevant adaptations, of course. The plan is going to be coordinated by NGOs and associations of craftspeople in the 2 countries, and the 2 governments are determined to offer them assistance along the way. And I also pass the word to my colleague from the delegation of the Republic of Moldova.
Thank you very much to the question of the delegate from the Czech Republic. And just to confirm the fact that in our case, as it was emphasized, it was a movement with driving force from the associations and the people that are used to prepare and to embroider the altizza, were, as usually is said in the society as well, iya. In fact, the both governments was working hardly on this file for the last few years, and there is including an action plan for the government how to promote forwardly the tradition of the blues. So there was a history, there are traditions that are continuing to be done, not just at the governmental level, but by the members of the society in both countries, and there is a strong determination to continue this to be done forwardly. I thank you.
Merci beaucoup à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie. Dans un souci de gain de temps, j'ai encore sur ma liste l'Ouzbékistan, la Malaisie et le Maroc, qui sont aussi co-auteurs de l'amendement. Donc, s'ils le souhaitent et s'ils m'en donnent l'autorisation, je souhaiterais passer directement à l'adoption de la décision, puisque nous soutenons tous l'amendement proposé par l'Arabie Saoudite, pour que nous puissions avancer rapidement, à moins que vous insistiez pour prendre la parole. Je parle de l'Ouzbékistan, de la Malaisie et du Maroc. Merci beaucoup. Donc je vous demanderai de bien vouloir afficher la décision. Merci. Est-ce que nous pourrions aller d'abord directement à l'amendement, s'il vous plaît? Voilà. Donc, j'ai sur ma liste les pays qui soutiennent l'amendement. Donc, j'ai l'Arabie Saoudite, évidemment, l'Angola, le Bangladesh, le Brésil, la Côte d'Ivoire, l'Éthiopie, l'Inde, la Malaisie, la Mauritanie, le Maroc, Panama, Paraguay, Pérou, Rwanda, Ouzbékistan, Vietnam, Botswana, République tchèque, Burkina Faso et Slovaquie. Et Allemagne également. Voilà, merci beaucoup. Donc, est-ce que nous pourrions adopter l'amendement tel qu'il figure sur vos écrans? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Merci infiniment. Donc, je remonte à la décision et je vous demanderai de bien vouloir adopter la décision 17.com 7.b.23 telle qu'amendée. Et il insiste, hein, elle a été amendée. Merci beaucoup. Félicitations à la Roumanie et à la Moldavie.
Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, membres du comité, représentants des États partis à la Convention, chers observateurs, pour nous, cette journée est très spéciale parce que c'est la fête nationale de la Roumanie. Nous sommes heureux de représenter la candidature conjointe de la Roumanie et de la République de Moldova à cette 17e session du comité intergouvernemental pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel accueilli avec tant de générosité par le Royaume du Maroc. Au nom des deux pays, nous tenons à exprimer notre gratitude à l'organe d'évaluation, au comité et également aux communautés détenteuses du patrimoine immatériel. Nous sommes donc reconnaissants aux experts évaluateurs qui ont prêté attention à notre candidature, offrant des points de vue et des recommandations précieuses qui nous soutiennent dans la consolidation des efforts spécifiques, présents et futurs, liés à éléments, mais aussi au patrimoine culturel immatériel en général. Nous saluons l'inscription de notre élément commun dans la liste représentative, étant préparé pour ce qui est encore plus important, le suivi de l'efficacité des mesures de sauvegarde mises en œuvre, la protection et conservation de l'élément placé au cœur de notre culture en tant qu'héritage partagé de nos deux pays est à partir d'aujourd'hui du monde entier.
Dosarul cămășii cu altiță la UNESCO a fost acceptat.
Thank you, UNESCO.
Après ces images exprimant la joie et la reconnaissance de nos communautés détenteuses, je passe la parole à mon collègue, le ministre de la Culture de la République de Moldova.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Secrétaire d'État. Monsieur le Président, Mesdames et Messieurs, la décision d'aujourd'hui est historique pour les citoyens et les communautés de nos pays. C'est une reconfirmation de l'existence de nos valeurs dans l'art de la blouse traditionnelle avec broderie sur l'épaule, Altița. Le symbolisme est complété par la fête nationale d'aujourd'hui de la Roumanie et la 30e anniversaire de la République de Moldova au sein de l'UNESCO. Nous saluons la sollicitude du comité qui a donné la possibilité à nos deux pays de fournir toutes les clarifications nécessaires afin de soutenir notre dossier pour l'inscription sur la liste représentative. Dans ce contexte international si troublé, nous tenons à féliciter tous les membres de communauté qui préservent et transmettent cet art et son savoir-faire pour maintenir vivantes nos valeurs identitaires. Nous sommes en même temps reconnaissants à tous les acteurs au niveau local, aux groupes d'initiatives civiques, les ONG, à tous ceux qui s'occupent de l'éducation pour le patrimoine en assurant la croissance de la sensibilité envers les valeurs immatérielles ainsi que leur promotion. Nous vous remercions.
Maintenant, nous allons passer au dossier présenté par la Serbie, Social Practices and Knowledge Related to the Preparation and Use of the Traditional Plum Spirit, Slivovica. Et je donne la parole à l'organe d'évaluation pour la présentation du dossier. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next file, as you said, the social practice and knowledge related to the preparation and use of the traditional plum spirits submitted by Serbia. And I'm so sorry if I cannot pronounce the name of the element in the right way. But the element is a traditional plum spirit. The element includes the complex knowledge and skills to prepare the drink in a home environment, as well as its use in everyday and ritual practices. The preparation has multiple stages involving families and community. Plums are usually grown on family farms and harvested in the fall. The elements plays a key role in developing a sense of belonging among respective groups. Drivovica is a marker of the traditional culture and identity of the communities and individuals, and is used in wedding rituals, important social events, birthdays, and funerary rituals. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria and recommends the inscription of this element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci à l'organe d'évaluation. Est-ce que nous pourrions aller directement à la décision, s'il vous plaît? Je rappelle que c'est le projet de décision 17.com 7.b.26. Pouvons-nous adopter cette décision dans sa globalité? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Félicitations à la Serbie. La parole est à Madame l'ambassadeur, Madame la présidente du Conseil exécutif. Très chère Tamara, la parole est à toi.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to express the deepest appreciation and the gratitude of the Republic of Serbia to the members of the committee for their decision to inscribe social practices and knowledge related to the preparation and the use of traditional plum spirit, Slivovica, on the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. I would also like to thank the members of the evaluation body and Secretariat for their dedicated work in the process of the preparing and evaluating our nomination file. For the Serbian people, various aspects of the culture of Slivovica, from plum cultivation and the process of preparation of traditional spirit to its use in the private or public, everyday or ritual events, represents important living heritage. The role played by this traditional spirit in the lives of communities and individuals makes Slivovica one of the symbols of our national identity. I'm confident the inscription of this element of the UNESCO representative list will further strengthen its safeguarding on all levels and contribute increasing its visibility internationally. And now allow me please to present you a short video on traditional plum spirit šljivovica. Thank you. Hvala.
Šljivovica je piće koje se u Srbiji služi kako svakodnevno, tako i u posebnim prilikama. Neizostavno je u porodičnim okupljanjima i na kolektivnim svečanostima. Uz šljivovicu se izgovaraju zdravice na proslavama rođenja i krštenja deteta, na punoletstvima, rođendanima, svadbama i porodičnim slavama. Uz nju se od vajkada veseli, ali i tuguje. Deo je posmrtnih običaja, a u prošlosti je prevashodno korišćena kao lek. Duga tradicija gajenja rakijskih sorti šljive doprinela je da se u gotovo svakom seoskom domaćinstvu u kojem se gaje, najviše u regionima zapadne, centralne i istočne Srbije, priprema i koristi šljivovica. Uloga ovog tradicionalnog pića u najvažnijim događajima u životu zajednice i pojedinca čini šljivovicu markerom tradicionalne kulture i nacionalnog identiteta.
Merci beaucoup. Nous allons maintenant passer au dossier présenté par la Slovénie, Beekeeping in Slovenia, a Way of Life. Et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. The next file is Beekeeping in Slovenia, a Way of Life, submitted by Slovenia. The element is a practice that represents a way of life for many individuals, families, and communities who obtain bee products for food and traditional medicine and use their knowledge and skills to care for the honeybees and the environment. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria and highly appreciated a well-prepared and well-written file that demonstrates the linkage between intangible cultural heritage and environmental sustainability. The elements propose sustainability development through caring for the environment, safe food, and environmentally friendly beekeeping practice. It represents a very good example of bicultural diversity. For this reason, the evaluation body recommends the inscription of this element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup au président de l'organe d'évaluation. Est-ce que nous pourrions afficher la décision, s'il vous plaît? La décision 17.com7.b.27. Est-ce que je peux demander au comité d'adopter cette décision? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Félicitations à la Slovénie. Merci beaucoup. La Slovénie, vous avez la parole.
Mr. Chairperson, thank you for giving the floor to Slovenia. Allow us to thank the evaluation body for its positive recommendation and the committee for its decision, thus inscribing an element that connects many individuals, families, associations, clubs, and communities from different generations and social backgrounds in the countryside and urban areas of the country. We are indebted to so many who helped us during the nomination process, especially the bearers and practitioners who continuously surprise and inspire us with the richness of their practices, skills, cultural expressions, and social roles, passionate transfer of knowledge that transcends borders, as well as mutual respect and deep appreciation of nature, all based on the achievements of predecessors, yet forward-looking. This element also receives broad support beyond a single domain, demonstrating that beekeeping in Slovenia is a way of life. Finally, Mr. Chairperson, beekeeping is the central example of the role of intangible cultural heritage in building sustainable, inclusive, and resilient societies. Allow us to convey this message in a short film prepared for the occasion. Thank you all on behalf of the Slovenian delegation.
Merci à vous. Félicitations encore une fois.
In the regions between the Alps and the Adriatic Sea, the indigenous Carniolan bee, whose qualities were developed through breeding over hundreds of years, is highly valued among beekeepers. Slovenia's beekeeping cultural heritage includes knowledge, skills, practices and traditions handed down from one generation to the next. It includes the typical apiaries, beehives, tools, devices, as well as books, manuals, archived materials, expert and popular literature, and art. For a long time now, beekeeping hasn't just been about collecting honey and wax. It is a part of agriculture, where bees, along with other insects, pollinate fruit trees and other plants which are a source of our food. The slogan, "No bees, no life," reinforces our awareness regarding the connection between nature and people and the urgent need to respect the harmony between all living beings here on planet Earth.
Félicitations encore une fois à la Slovénie. Bravo. Si vous me le permettez, et je demande l'indulgence du comité, on essaie, comme je l'ai dit ce matin à la réunion du bureau, d'aménager un peu en fonction des demandes des uns et des autres. Et donc nous allons passer maintenant à un dossier multinational qui est celui du dattier palmier, Knowledge, Skills, Traditions and Practices, qui est présenté par les Émirats arabes unis, Bahreïn, l'Égypte, l'Irak, la Jordanie, le Koweït, la Mauritanie, le Maroc, Oman, la Palestine, le Qatar, l'Arabie saoudite, le Soudan, la Tunisie et le Yémen. Et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next file is date palm, submitted by 15 states. Typically found in deserts and dry temperate climates, the date palm is an evergreen plant with roots that deeply penetrate the earth in search of humidity. The communities in the area where the date palm has spread still maintain the related practice, knowledge, and skills that include caring for and cultivating the date palm tree and using its part for traditional craft and social rituals. The evaluation body considered that all 5 criteria are met and highly appreciate collaboration in the preparation of a very well-written multinational nomination file. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président de l'organe d'évaluation. Est-ce que nous pourrions passer directement à l'adoption de la décision, s'il vous plaît? Je rappelle, c'est la décision 17.com 7.b.33. Voilà. Est-ce que nous pourrions adopter la décision? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Félicitations à nous tous. Merci beaucoup. Alors, je sais qu'il y a une vidéo, mais est-ce qu'il y a quelqu'un parmi le groupe de pays qui souhaite prendre la parole par rapport à ce dossier? Il y a monsieur l'ambassadeur du Qatar.
Je pense, Monsieur le Président, que l'ambassadeur des Émirats arabes unis doit prendre la parole avant moi.
OK. Donc, Monsieur l'ambassadeur des Émirats arabes unis, vous avez la parole.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the 15 states participating in the multinational file, Date Palm, Knowledge, Skills, Traditions, and Practices, which has been inscribed on the representative list since December 2019, the UAE expresses its gratitude and appreciation for UNESCO's concerned efforts in implementing the 2003 Convention and for providing the opportunity for the State of Qatar to join the file. Joint files fundamentally highlight the cultural ties between nations and people and contribute to fostering peace and understanding. The inclusion of Qatar in the nomination file is a significant addition considering the importance of the nation's date palm heritage and its social and cultural impact. Furthermore, this inclusion extends an open invitation for all other nations to join the file with the aim of preserving their related heritage. On a closing note, we would like to make a special note of the visibly tangible efforts of Alexo and its distinguished role in supporting joint Arab files and in achieving the goals and plans of the 2003 Convention. Thank you.
Merci, Excellence, et je passe la parole à Monsieur l'ambassadeur du Qatar.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Tout d'abord, je tiens à remercier l'organe de l'évaluation et les États membres et mon frère, l'ambassadeur des Émirats arabes unis. Je remercie aussi profondément le Royaume du Maroc pour l'organisation exceptionnelle des travaux du comité de patrimoine culturel immatériel. Je remercie également, Monsieur le Président, votre travail et votre présidence avisée. L'État du Qatar attachait une grande importance à la préservation et à la protection du patrimoine culturel matériel et immatériel. Le Qatar a placé la protection du patrimoine immatériel au cœur de ses politiques nationales et de ses efforts au niveau international dans le cadre des travaux de la Convention de 2003 pour la sauvegarde du patrimoine culturel immatériel. L'adhésion de l'État du Qatar aux États somptuaires du dossier palmier, al-Nakhla, est un témoin de l'attachement de l'histoire et de la culture du Qatar à cet élément culturel, qui a une dimension culturelle, sociale et économique au niveau local. D'autant plus que le palmier jouit un héritage authentique et de longue date de la culture du Qatar et de la région arabe. Le palmier est un symbole exceptionnel de don, autour duquel s'articule le fondement de notre culture. Le palmier représente le nerf de la vie économique et sociale de nos ancêtres et au fil des générations jusqu'à notre époque, à travers lequel ils ont pu échanger avec d'autres cultures. Ainsi, le palmier est resté, à travers le temps, une base fondamentale au sein de la société qatarienne et arabe. Shukran, Saïd al-Raïs, et merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président.
شكرا جزيلا أخي العزيز ناصر. مبروك علينا جميعا. الآن أنا أظن أن je crois qu'il y a une vidéo à projeter. Merci.
ركزت على النخلة لأن كنا عايشين من النخلة. النخلة كنا ناكل رطبة منها وناكل التمرة منها والفرش منها والنار منها والمخمة منها والمهفة منها والسفرة للعيش منها والليفة منها والجدع السقف منها. كل جزء في النخلة احنا مستفيدين منه في الماضي.
The palm tree occupies a prominent place in the region since ancient times due to its characterization through economic, social, cultural, and even spiritual factors. Its appetizing fruits constitute a significant source of food, and its luminous branches serves as a haven to those who seek protection from the sun's brutal rays. The tree symbolizes generosity, peace, and beauty, inspiring a multitude of local poems, stories, and proverbs. As the palm represented prosperity, the Emirati populace strived to expand the tree's cultivation, develop its varieties, trim its branches, manufacture its products, and promote its historic connection through various festivals, exhibitions, and cultural events. The palm tree can be found all over the Arab world, in oases of all sizes and shapes. The oases of Al-Ain, Al-Zaid, and Al-Dhafra in the United Arab Emirates contain hundreds of varieties. The palm tree, unique, beautiful, and majestic, enjoys a very close relationship with the communities, groups, and individuals who live in the areas where this tree is found. This relationship is manifested through the knowledge, skills, social, and cultural practices that people use in planting, irrigating, picking, and pruning these trees. Dates represent a symbol of generosity and giving. People often serve dates along with coffee or milk to the guests. Also, dates is one of the primary food items that people eat to break their fast in Ramadan. In most Arab countries, there is a strong relationship between the people and the palm tree that dates back to thousands of years. Archaeological items such as ancient coins, statues, drawings, and rock carvings indicate the cultural, economic, aesthetic, and social value of the palm tree throughout history. The MENA region, decorated with desert palm plantations, is striving to maintain the palm's continuity in terms of cultivated areas. Date palms and their various fruits are incredibly useful. The single grooved seed of a date fruit yields oil. Its sap is edible. Its seeds are used as substitute for coffee and feeds camels in the region. The trunk and the sturdy midribs of the leaves are used to make crates and furniture. The leaves are woven into baskets. Date cluster stalks are made into rope or burnt for fuel. It can also be boiled down to make palm sugar candy. Its bud tips can be eaten, typically in a salad. The palm tree's benefits know no bounds. Its importance unrivaled in the region's habitat. It remains a staple in the hearts of many as a sign of peace, prosperity, and perseverance.
Merci beaucoup. Nous passons maintenant au dossier présenté par le Tadjikistan et la République islamique d'Iran, Ceremony of Mehergan. Et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci.
Merci à vous, Monsieur le Président. The next file is Ceremony of Mehergan submitted by Tajikistan and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The element is a wage-scale annual Thanksgiving celebration that takes place in the fall. The specific rituals performed during the ceremony vary according to the religion. The evaluation body considers that criteria R1 and R5 are met, but the information provided is not sufficient to consider satisfied criterion R2, R3, and R4. The file explains that the community are involved in past and current efforts to safeguard the element. However, the file does not explain the role of the concerned community in both submitting states in terms of planning and implementing the proposed safeguarding measures. Furthermore, the file does not explain how the community were involved in the nomination process. For this reason, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state parties. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci infiniment, Monsieur le Président de l'organe d'évaluation. Le secrétariat n'ayant pas reçu d'amendement, donc je propose que nous allions directement à la décision. C'est le 17.com, 7.b.29. Voilà. Je demanderai au comité de bien vouloir adopter cette décision telle qu'elle est affichée. Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Maintenant, nous passons au dossier présenté par la Tunisie. C'est la Harissa, Knowledge, Skills and Culinary and Social Practices. Et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci beaucoup.
OK. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le dossier suivant est la Harissa, connaissances, compétences et pratiques culinaires et sociales proposées par la Tunisie. L'élément comprend les connaissances, les compétences et les pratiques culinaires et sociales associées à la production et à la consommation de la harissa. La harissa est utilisée comme ingrédient, condiment aux d'œuvre et fait partie intégrante des provisions domestiques et des traditions culinaires alimentaires quotidiennes de la société tunisienne. Après avoir réinitié un processus de dialogue sur les critères R3 relatifs au risque d'une procédure standard pour la créativité humaine, l'organe d'évaluation a considéré que la candidature répond aux 5 critères. En conclusion, l'organe d'évaluation recommande l'inscription de cet élément sur la liste représentative. Merci.
Merci, Monsieur le Président de l'organe d'évaluation.
Donc je propose que nous allions directement à l'adoption de la décision. Donc c'est la décision 17.com 7.b.30. Est-ce que nous pouvons l'adopter? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Félicitations à la Tunisie. La Tunisie, vous avez la parole.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Mesdames et Messieurs, chers collègues, chers amis, la Tunisie est fière de cette inscription de l'Harissa dont les valeurs et les significations sont multiples. En effet, l'Harissa englobe une série de savoirs, savoir-faire et rituels liés à sa consommation et sa production. Utilisée comme ingrédient, condiment ou amuse-bouche, l'harissa fait partie intégrante des provisions familiales et des pratiques culinaires et alimentaires quotidiennes et festives au sein de la société tunisienne. Elle est le plus souvent préparée par les femmes dans un cadre collectif marqué par l'entraide et la coopération, d'où sa fonction dans le renforcement de la cohésion sociale. Au-delà de ces aspects techniques traduisant une harmonie parfaite avec la nature, l'harissa a une valeur symbolique importante. Elle représente la chaleur, l'activité et la vitalité. Cette reconnaissance internationale est une sorte de récompense des efforts déployés pour la sauvegarde de l'élément, une mise en avant des traditions culinaires et alimentaires qui représentent une composante essentielle du PCI. Enfin, je saisis cette opportunité pour remercier le Maroc pour l'accueil chaleureux, l'hospitalité et l'organisation impressionnante. Je souhaite également exprimer ma reconnaissance à l'organe d'évaluation, l'ensemble des comités pour leur sens d'engagement et pour tous les efforts déployés. Et merci pour votre attention.
Merci beaucoup à la Tunisie et encore une fois, félicitations. Je crois que nous avons une vidéo qui va être projetée maintenant. Merci.
La harissa est un assaisonnement à base de purée de piment rouge qui rehausse la cuisine tunisienne. Elle est aussi l'objet de pratiques culinaires et sociales. Utilisée en tant que condiment, ingrédient ou mise en bouche, la harissa est consommée sur tout le territoire tunisien.
Merci beaucoup à la Tunisie et encore une fois, félicitations. Nous allons maintenant passer au dossier présenté par le Turkménistan et la République islamique d'Iran, Turkmen Style Needlework Art, et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci.
Thank you very much. The next file is the Turkmen style needlework art submitted by Turkmenistan and the Islamic Republic of Iran. The element is a form of decorative applied art combining the skills of creative works on different types of fabric. The element's social function and cultural meanings are related to its use in wedding dresses and clothing for brides and grooms, and in object use in funerals, social gatherings, and cultural events. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria and recommends the inscription of this element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Je demanderai donc qu'on passe directement à la décision. Donc c'est le projet de décision 17.com7.b.31. Pouvons-nous adopter? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Félicitations au Turkménistan et à la République islamique d'Iran. La parole est au Turkménistan qui sera suivi par la République islamique d'Iran. Le Turkménistan, vous avez la parole.
Dear Mr. Chair, Excellencies, esteemed colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, since Turkmenistan takes floor the first time, I would like to extend our sincere gratitude to the Chair for his excellent moderation. I also want to thank Morocco and the UNESCO ICH Secretariat for hospitality and arrangement of this session at the highest level. On behalf of the delegation of Turkmenistan and all people of my country, I would like to express our highest appreciation to the committee and the evaluation body for accepting and including our nomination file, Turkmen-style needlework art, in the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of the Humanity. This nomination has been prepared together with our neighbor country, Islamic Republic of Iran. Turkmen-style needlework art is one of the most famous folk crafts of Turkmens. Needlework, being one of the oldest forms of applied art, has become widespread among women. In the past, our skilled women have found beautiful patterns, masterfully combined colors and transferred patterns to fabric, and created many types of national clothes. In their art of needlework, they have endowed the patterns with the beauty of nature. We believe that inscription of the element in the representative list will become a pride for local communities, groups, and individuals, especially younger generations, as they see that the world has recognized their centuries-old art and tries to promote it. I would like once again to thank everyone who has been engaged in the nomination process, from communities and the bearers of the element to the evaluation body and the committee. Thank you for your efforts. Shukran.
Merci beaucoup. La parole est à l'Iran.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. آقای رئیس، اعضای محترم کمیته، آقای دبیر، بسیار ممنونم که با ثبت هنر سوزندوزی ترکمن که به صورت مشترک میان ایران و ترکمنستان ارائه شده است در فهرست میراث فرهنگی ناملموس یونسکو موافقت نموده اید. ایران و ترکمنستان از دیرباز قرابت‌های فرهنگی بسیاری دارند که ترکمندوزی یکی از آنهاست. الگوها و طرح‌های بی‌نظیر این هنر که توسط بانوان گرامی ترکمن در هر دو کشور دوخته می شود، زینت بخش و هویت بخش فرهنگ جامعه و لباس مردمان این دو کشور است. الگوها و طرح‌هایی که برگرفته از نقش‌مایه‌های طبیعی، باورهای مقدس و احترام به طبیعت است. بهترین ها را برای شما آرزو دارم.
Merci beaucoup et félicitations encore une fois. Donc nous passons maintenant au dossier présenté par l'Ouzbékistan, le Tadjikistan et le Kazakhstan, Traditional Embroidery in Central Asia. Et je demanderai à l'organe d'évaluation de bien vouloir présenter ce dossier. Merci.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. You say the next file is Traditional Embroidery in Central Asia, submitted by Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, and Kazakhstan. The traditional embroidery is used for decorating fabric products and decorative items, such as pillows, headdress, curtains, and bags. The most complete art of embroidery is in wall carpets, ceremonial clothing, and interior decorative items, such as tablet clothes. The evaluation body considered that criteria R1 and R2 are met, but the information provided is not sufficient to consider satisfied criteria R3, R4, and R5. The file provide information about various proposed safeguarding measures from each submitting state. However, the file does not provide any joint safeguarding measure from the submitting states and did not give any demonstration that the file was prepared jointly and that the community concerned were involved in the nomination process. For this reason, in conclusion, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président de l'organe d'évaluation. Je vois que le secrétariat n'a pas reçu de demande d'amendement, donc nous passons directement à l'adoption de la décision, si vous le voulez bien. Donc le projet de décision 17.com, 7.b, 34. Est-ce que nous pouvons adopter cette décision telle qu'elle est affichée? Je ne vois pas d'objection. Décision adoptée. Nous allons passer maintenant au dossier présenté par la Zambie, Kalela Dance, et le secrétariat. Ah, je vais d'abord demander à l'organe d'évaluation d'abord de présenter ce dossier. Merci beaucoup.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next file is Kalila Dance, submitted by Zambia. The Kalila Dance originated during colonial times in the province of Labula, province of Zambia. Kalila is a kind of dance drill formation in which the dancers form 2 or 3 lines, moving forward and backwards, and they sing along the drum beat. It was adopted by mine workers and used for entertainment at the Sheep's Palace during traditional ceremonies, funerals, harvest celebrations, and other important occasions. After initiating a dialogue process on criterion R2 and R3 related to the participation of the communities in planning, implementing safeguarding measures, the evaluation body considered that criterion R1, R3, and R5 are met, but that the information provided after the dialogue are not sufficient to determine whether criterion R2 and R3 are satisfied. The file explains past and current safeguarding measures, but didn't provide details on efforts of the community to safeguard the element, and the dialogue process did not provide sufficient clarification on this issue. For these reasons, the evaluation body recommends that nomination be referred to the submitting state. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Merci beaucoup à l'organe d'évaluation. Le secrétariat a reçu une demande d'amendement du Botswana et je demanderai à monsieur l'ambassadeur du Botswana de... Ah, c'est monsieur le ministre qui va présenter l'amendement. Monsieur le ministre, vous avez la parole.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson, and good morning. Mr. Chair, Botswana has submitted an amendment to draft decision 17.com 7B35 on behalf of Zambia, who has nominated Kalela Dance for inscription on the representative list of the Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. Kalela Dance is a form of entertainment used during traditional ceremonies, funerals, harvest celebrations, and other important occasions. The amendment has provided the required information as advised by the evaluation body. Therefore, we feel the nomination satisfies the criterion for inscription. Mr. Chair, answering to UNESCO's Global Priority Africa, we are of the view that Zambia should be listened to and their case can be considered. Botswana pleads for this nomination to be considered as it will raise awareness in the African region and be a motivation for other African countries to submit their intangible cultural heritage for inscription. It is for this reason that we strongly believe that the information requested has been provided in the file, therefore the element should be inscribed. The full details of the amendment can be better explained by the submitting state, who should, with your permission, Mr. Chair, be given the floor. I thank you very much.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Ministre. Donc, je donne la parole à la Zambie pour réagir sur les critères. Merci.
Thank you, Chair, for the opportunity for Zambia to give further clarification on the Kalela dance file that was submitted for inscription. I'll start with the community participation, just in line with what was submitted in the file. The preparation of the Kalela nomination was done with full participation of the groups and communities that practice the element. The element basically covers 3 provinces, and the whole process of preparation involved all the 3 provinces. Preliminary meetings were held with the groups leaders, communities, and community/traditional leaders in all the 3 provinces and the districts that have the groups and people that practice the element. In Copperbelt province, groups and group leaders were involved at every stage in Kitwe, Luansha, Mufulira, Ndola, and Chingola districts. In Luapula province, groups leaders and traditional leaders were fully involved at every stage of the process in districts as Mansa, Samcha, Chifunabuli, and Mwense districts. In Northern province, group leaders, traditional leaders were involved at every stage of the preparation in Lupososhi and Chilubi districts. Sensitization meetings were held in all the provinces and districts that practice the element. Prior consent was gotten from the group leaders, community or traditional leaders before and during the exercise to update the files and prepare the nomination. All the groups and group leaders and community personalities who have the knowledge and experience were involved during the updating and preparation of the inventory and the application form. The involvement of the custodians was done in a number of stages and activities. Firstly, sensitization and pre-consent was done through the provincial and district offices. Secondly, outdoor workshops were conducted with the concerned stakeholders, custodians, and practitioners of the element, at which consent was also gotten and preparation of the nomination was also undertaken. Thirdly, during the inventory activities, the communities and group leaders were also involved. Fourthly, during follow-ups to fill in the gaps, the communities and groups were also involved. They were involved in all the final stages to validate the final submission. Now, on the safeguarding measures of the communities, the groups and communities were fully involved in the proposed safeguarding measures and their implementation. A series of meetings to sensitize capacity building and consent seeking were done. As I said, the meetings were held in all the provinces and the districts where the element is found. The meetings included all the dance groups, the traditional leaders, the stakeholders, and community leaders as custodians of the element. The following royal establishments were consulted, such as Mansabombre, Mivenge, Mwewa, and Chitembo Royal Establishment of Luapula Province, Chungu Royal Establishment in Northern Provinces. They indicated that they need more platforms for performances during festivals such as the Kalela Festival in Samfya, public and state functions, social functions, and traditional ceremonies for them to continue performing, practicing the element. Generally, the dancers, traditional and community leaders were able to indicate that their biggest challenge to the implementation of the proposed measures were financial incapacity and lack of a variety of costumes, instruments, and musical tools to support their performances. In terms of visibility, the Kalela dance was in the past colonial times and post-independence era until the 1980s practiced in towns of the Copper Belt such as Chililabombwe, Kalulushi, Chingola, Kitwe, Mufulira, Rwanshandola. In Luapula and northern provinces, it was performed in rural areas only. The dance had even expanded to other towns such as Kabwe and Lusaka. Currently, the dance is found only in 5 districts of the Copper Belt and only in 1 dance group per town as compared in the past, when each mine compound had a Kalela group. Therefore, its inscription will definitely make the dance be more visible and will lead to more groups being created and the old ones being strengthened. It is also expected that the Kalela festival and the festival that was created 2 years ago in Luapula province, Samcha district, will also grow to a big festival and more visibility of the Kalela dance. At national level, the inscription of the Kalela dance will make it visible in other parts of the country because of the inscription announcement itself. The inscription is expected to make the dance to be visible countrywide, even among the non-Kalela dancers. The inscription will also motivate other Ushi, Bisa, Ngumbo, and Bemba-speaking groups in other parts of the country to create new groups and strengthen the existence of the dance in other parts of the country. The involvement of the Kalela dance in other national festivals, such as the Pamos Festival in Lusaka Province, and Livingstone Cultural and Arts Festival, Southern Province, will increase this visibility. At national level, it's expected that the Kalela dance involvement at public and state functions will increase this visibility at national level. The inscription of Kalela dance is expected also to increase visibility internationally, and this will be an increase of its performance at local and national levels, traditional ceremonies, state and public functions. The inscription is also expected to lead an increase in the documentation and research of the element internationally. The inscription of the Kalela dance on the representative list will be an international UNESCO list and website, and this will provide a window for research not only on Kalela dance, but also other related ICH elements by scholars. Further, information generated by research, television, and radio at international level would definitely lead to the Kalela's visibility internationally. It is also expected that the inscription of the Kalela dance will lead to an increase in Kalela-related exhibitions at international and local museums and other related forums that have a wide audience and will promote the publishing of the articles on Kalela in reputable institutions. Finally, let me mention that the state is ready to support, as mentioned even in the file, in terms of all these measures and the support activities that have been proposed. The state also plans to continue creating district intangible heritage committees so that continued participation of communities in the planning and implementation of ICH programs is assured. Currently, the committees have been created at provincial level, but there will be urgent need to create them at district level. Furthermore, the state party has created a mechanism to support technically and financially community-based initiatives in organizing festivals and exhibitions. The state party will continue giving support technically and financially for the continued hosting of the Kalela Dance Festival and the Samcha Arts Festival. These are local and national platforms for the element to be visible and viable. The cultural policies and related legislation will be implemented to make sure the element does not encounter unintended results due to the resulting visibility and viability as a result of inscription. I submit, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Zambia, for all the clarifications. And I would like to give the floor now to the Republic of Korea, to be followed by Ethiopia, and then Sweden.
Thank you, Chairperson, for giving us the floor. First of all, we would like to appreciate the thorough and consistent work done by the evaluation body. We are satisfied by the detailed supplementary information provided by Zambia as answering the highly relevant questions by the distinguished Minister of Botswana. We find the nomination worthy of inscription. We would be delighted to have this inscription, which will enrich the geographic balance and diversity of elements in this year's inscriptions. Thank you.
Thank you, Korea. Now I'm giving the floor to Ethiopia. Ethiopia, you have the floor.
Thank you,
followed
Chair.
by Sweden.
Thank you, Chair, for giving the floor to Ethiopia. And I further thank you, the government of Zambia has been submitting this file, which might really increase the number of inscriptions in Africa. I stayed in the Ethiopian delegation for the last 2.5 years. I have been attending many intergovernmental cultural committees, and one of the strategic issues was Priority Africa in all the time at the crossroads of the discussion. Here we have to ask, what is and where will be the right intergovernmental committee to address the real disparity between Africa and the rest of the world in inscribing the elements? Africa is known in its rich cultural heritage. However, due to various known challenges predominantly meeting the very criteria by furnishing with adequate clarifications has been and is still a persistent challenge, not only to the submitting state Zambia, but to most of the state parties in the group, including my country as well. Thus, dear committee members, here is the right time to all of us to work in line with the basic spirits of multilateralism to really address, to fill the inscribed element of intangible cultural heritage between Africa and the rest of the entire world. Finally, based on the detailed and very good explanation given by Zambia, finally, Ethiopia supports the amendment presented by Botswana to inscribe Kalela dance in the list. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ethiopia. Now I'll give the floor to Sweden. Sweden, you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. We thank the EB for their thorough report, but we also would like to thank Botswana for their amendment and for the elaborate explanation given by Zambia, and would like to say that we support the amendment from Botswana. Thank you.
Thank you, Sweden. Now I'm giving the floor to Saudi Arabia.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We also believe that the detailed clarifications provided by the esteemed delegate of Zambia in reference to the Kala dance is satisfactory. Therefore, Saudi Arabia would also like to support the amendment. And I would like to echo what my fellow committee members stressed on the importance of supporting file inscription in Africa. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Saudi Arabia. Now I'm giving the floor to Malaysia, to be followed by Morocco.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a quick one. Malaysia is satisfied with the additional information given by Zambia based on the questions raised by Botswana. In this regard, Malaysia supports the inscription of the element and wishes to echo the statement by Ethiopia. Thank you.
Thank you, Malaysia. Now I'm giving the floor to Morocco.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Nous remercions le Botswana pour son amendement et nous souhaitons apporter notre soutien à cet amendement. Nous remercions également la Zambie pour ses explications et clarifications qui sont convaincantes à nos yeux, notamment pour ce qui est des critères 2 et 3. L'État partie nous rassure quant à la contribution de l'inscription à la visibilité et à la sensibilisation du patrimoine culturel et matériel, ainsi que par rapport à l'implication des communautés dans les efforts de sauvegarde proposés. Monsieur le Président, je crois qu'on est en train d'examiner le seul dossier provenant des États du groupe Afrique. Et je crois que le comité peut donner un signal donc en facilitant l'inscription de cet élément. ma délégation est favorable à l'inscription de cet élément sur la liste du patrimoine immatériel. Merci beaucoup.
Merci beaucoup, le Maroc. Je passe la parole au Rwanda qui sera suivi par le Burkina Faso. Le Rwanda.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. La délégation du Rwanda remercie l'organe d'évaluation pour l'analyse minutieuse de cet élément originaire et original de la Zambie, la danse Kalela. Nous avons apprécié les observations apportées par l'évaluation à l'endroit de cet élément et nous recommandons à cette session de considérer 2 points qui nous semblent essentiels pour plaider en faveur de son inscription. La danse Kalela comme vecteur d'inclusion et de cohésion sociale entre différentes communautés de la Zambie. Nous remercions également le ministre du Botswana pour la proposition de son amendement et nous remercions ensuite la présentation qui a été faite par la délégation de Zambie. Et sur ce point, nous recommandons aujourd'hui que le Rwanda ajoute sa co-sponsoring. I'm trying to mix French and English. Apologies. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Excellence. Le soutien est bien noté. Et je donne la parole au Burkina Faso qui sera suivi par le Brésil.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Burkina Faso soutient l'inscription de cet élément qui insiste sur le dialogue et la diversité culturelle comme valeur essentielle qui peut contribuer à la visibilité du patrimoine culturel d'une manière générale. Le Burkina Faso voudrait poser encore des questions techniques qui, notamment sur l'interpellation de l'organe d'évaluation sur un certain nombre d'éléments. Notamment, qu'est-ce qui justifie donc l'utilisation des lettres standardisées? Est-ce que c'est pour faciliter le processus d'obtention de ces consentements ou est-ce que c'est parce que les communautés concernées ne savent pas tous lire la langue dans laquelle les documents sont présentés? Ou est-ce que le signe d'une Afrique fortement marquée par l'oralité? Ça, c'est la première question que je voulais poser donc à la Zambie, afin d'appuyer notamment les observations qui ont été déjà faites. Par ailleurs, l'évaluation estime que les communautés ne sont pas suffisamment impliquées dans la sauvegarde de l'élément. Quel est donc le niveau d'implication des communautés dans la sauvegarde de l'élément alors que les instruments de musique, qui sont des pans importants du patrimoine culturel, sont associés à la mise en œuvre de l'élément et que ces instruments sont fabriqués principalement par les communautés elles-mêmes? Et je voudrais que la Zambie, notamment, puisse nous donner des informations sur l'implication de ces communautés-là dans la construction des instruments qui pourraient aider à la sauvegarde donc, de l'élément. Je vous remercie et en marquant encore le soutien du Burkina Faso à l'inscription de cet élément.
Merci beaucoup, le Burkina Faso. Et bien évidemment, le soutien est noté. Il y a une partie, notamment la deuxième question que vous avez bien voulu poser à la Zambie, auquel la Zambie a déjà répondu et très clairement, mais je vais quand même redonner la parole à la Zambie pour répondre à la première partie de votre question. La Zambie.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Burkina Faso, for those technical questions. I think on the use of standard letters, I think the result of standard letters is through the process of capacity building. Because when you go in these rural areas that are very far from urban areas, you find people don't know how to read and write. And so for them to come up with each one his own letter is not possible. You just have to have a standard consent form so that you explain to them, you interpret it in their language, then you start getting the consent and working with them. Otherwise, for everyone to come up with a consent letter of their own writing, they don't know how to write. You have to interpret, you have to translate. That is why you find that the consent forms are in English and also in the local language, so that they are able to know that this is English, then you have translated it in their local language. Then the concept of the safeguarding measures and their involvement. What happens in the context of field work when you go in these rural areas where you have to work with the practitioners and the people down there is that you can't do anything without the authority of the traditional leaders and the authority of the custodians and practitioners. So by the time you are going on the ground, you have to do all the work for all those weeks you are working with them to help them to have this file prepared. So their involvement is 100% from the word go until the end. There is nothing like they were involved only on the definition, only on the visibility, only on the measures. They are involved throughout the preparation of the file until you are ready to submit. Even when you are about to submit, the traditional leaders have to say, okay, it's ready now, you can submit on behalf of us. I submit, Chair.
Merci beaucoup à la Zambie pour la clarté des explications fournies. Donc je poursuis sur ma liste d'intervenants. Je donne la parole au Brésil, qui sera suivi par l'Inde et puis par la République tchèque. Le Brésil.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Brazil is satisfied with the information provided. Regarding the point R2, we must bear in mind that the state parties already mobilized itself to promote safeguarding measures to cultural practice at the regional and national levels. And we believe that a possible inscription of the Kalela dance in the list will contribute to give even more visibility and raise awareness about the intangible cultural heritage in general and at international level. Regarding the point R4, we understand that the consent letters apparently presented in a standardized way try to mitigate possible limitation of the local community interested in expressing its free adhesion and consent. And this is a problem that we also face in Brazil, and perhaps the same problem that we face in the file of Cuba. In our societies, many times, our communities greatly value their orality and may face difficulties in pluralizing their written expressions. Regarding the point R5, I would like to remind that for the purpose of 2003 Convention, intangible cultural heritage means expressions that communities, groups, and in some cases individuals recognize as an integral part of their cultural heritage. As set out in the Evaluation Board's report, the cultural property was included in the Zambia National Inventory in December 2017. The inventory is maintained by a number of organizations, including the Ministry of Tourism and Arts and the Zambian National Commission for UNESCO. For these reasons, Brazil would like to appear as a co-sponsor of the amendment. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Merci beaucoup au Brésil. Donc je relis la liste des speakers. Donc j'aurai l'Inde, India, Czechia, Germany, Slovakia, Angola, Panama et Peru. India, you have the floor, Excellency.
Excellency, thank you. To keep our conversation short, Excellency, we would like to support the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Czechia, vous avez la parole.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Nous remercions la Zambie pour la soumission du dossier de candidature pour ce bel élément. Nous remercions l'organe d'évaluation pour son analyse du dossier et si nous avions quelques doutes, particulièrement concernant le critère R3, les précisions exprimées par l'État partie nous ont satisfaits et c'est pourquoi nous soutenons l'amendement proposé. Nous aimerions par ailleurs féliciter la Zambie pour le beau film qui accompagne le dossier de candidature. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Merci infiniment, Madame l'Ambassadeur, et merci pour votre soutien à ce dossier. Je passe la parole maintenant à l'Allemagne. Germany, you have the floor.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Vous allez comprendre que je m'intéresse particulièrement à la danse dans toutes ses facettes, y compris la Kebala pratiquée en Zambie. Merci beaucoup pour les explications donnés par la Zambie qui m'ont satisfait. J'accompagne ce projet avec beaucoup de sympathie et je vais exprimer mon soutien et je vais co-parrainer cette inscription. Je veux ajouter quand même, j'aimerais bien de l'organe d'évaluation, de savoir comment peut-on adopter des formes de dialogue pour le mettre plus compréhensible et plus clair pour des partenaires qui sont, comme vient d'expliquer la Zambie, qui sont différents, ont des défis différents que dans les différentes régions du monde. Merci.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur l'ambassadeur, très cher Peter. Merci d'abord pour le soutien de l'Allemagne à ce dossier. Évidemment, je vais donner rapidement la parole à l'organe d'évaluation, puis je reviens à la liste. Monsieur le Président, ou Madame, vous avez la parole.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to answer this question. As a matter of fact, my colleague, the chairperson of the evaluation body, had answered this yesterday, and I emphasize this. The dialogue process is directly to address a direct, short, simple question to the state party, just to clarify something. When is the with the direct answer, not to add information to the file. It's not allowed to us to add to the file unless we refer the file to the state party and they add what they like by themselves. It's not our job to add information. We ask a direct question and we re-evaluate the file after answering this question through the dialogue process. And all the state parties have the equal opportunity to have this question. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à l'organe d'évaluation. Je vais passer la parole à Tim. Il a quelques précisions justement par rapport à la question posée. Merci, Tim.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. I just wanted to specify that this issue actually did come up during the sort of long process of reflection on the reform of the listing mechanisms and the issue of how how information can be presented given the diversity of contexts in which it's harvested. And there is a recommendation that other forms and not only written forms of information may be provided, videos, phone videos, speaking, so that in the future, and it will take 2 years to start seeing these reforms come through because we are still working now with the older system, but it should be possible for communities to expressly to express themselves through other mechanisms than writing forms. So that's foreseen to be able to start, but it will again, and I must say we're only now working on, it will only be for the next year and it will only be in 2024 that the committee will be able to appreciate how some of these reforms have had an effect or not. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Tim. Now I'm giving the floor to Slovakia to be followed by Angola. Slovakia, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would like to say that Slovakia welcomes very much this file on this year's session of the committee, and we thank the distinguished delegate of Zambia for really exhaustive, to the point, and clear additional information that we received. And I particularly welcome clarification on the context of the elaboration of the file, which are really useful for our deliberations. And so on this, I would like to support the amendment as proposed by Botswana for the inscription of the file. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup à la Slovaquie. Merci, Madame l'ambassadeur. Là, je donne la parole à l'Angola, qui sera suivi par le Panama, le Pérou et l'Ouzbékistan. Donc l'Angola. Angola, you have the floor.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. L'Angola voudrait remercier le travail et les commentaires de l'organe d'évaluation et remercier aussi le Botswana d'avoir amené ces amendements qu'on sponsorise. Aussi manifester sa satisfaction par l'explication présentée par la Zambie et supporter l'inscription de Kalela Dance sur la liste du patrimoine culturel immatériel, ce qui viendra enrichir la même. Et c'est aussi un pas vers l'équilibre de cette liste. Je vous remercie.
Merci beaucoup à l'Angola. Donc il me reste le Panama, le Pérou et l'Ouzbékistan. Panama tiene la palabra.
Gracias, señor presidente, y gracias al secretario por la buena noticia que nos da a futuro. Para ser breve, desde el punto de vista técnico, sentimos que en la explicación que hace el órgano evaluador, refiriéndose al expediente, se expresa que el Estado promoverá la implementación de políticas culturales, políticas públicas. Y si me baso en la definición, una cosa es una ley, pero las políticas públicas implican participación de las comunidades. Dicho eso, en esta sola frase se está diciendo que participan las comunidades. Gracias.
Thank you very much, Panama. Now I'm giving the floor to Peru to be followed by Uzbekistan. Peru, you have the floor.
Gracias, señor presidente. Hemos escuchado cuidadosamente los argumentos vertidos por la delegación de Zambia y nos parecen satisfactorios. Por eso queremos sumarnos a apoyar la enmienda presentada por Botswana. Gracias.
Muchas gracias a Perú. Now, Uzbekistan, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Uzbekistan is also satisfied with the communication here and additional information provided, and we also fully support the amendment initiated by Botswana and supported by others. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Uzbekistan, for your support. Est-ce que nous pourrions aller directement à l'examen de l'amendement, s'il vous plaît? Perdón, Paraguay, tiene la palabra.
Simplemente para apoyar también la enmienda presentada por Botswana y la hermosa danza galela. Gracias, presidente.
Thank you very much, Paraguay. Muchas gracias. Est-ce que nous pourrions voir le... Oui, il faut rajouter le Paraguay. Et j'aimerais bien voir la liste des pays qui ont sponsorisé l'amendement. Donc, je relis. Il y a le Botswana, l'Angola, le Burkina Faso, la Côte d'Ivoire, la République tchèque, l'Éthiopie, le Maroc, la Mauritanie, le Rwanda, la Suisse, le Brésil, l'Inde, l'Allemagne, la Slovaquie, le Panama, le Pérou, l'Ouzbékistan et Paraguay. Il y en a encore. L'Arabie Saoudite, et la Corée et la Suède, et la Malaisie, donc tout le comité. Et j'en suis très heureux. La Corée, oui, je l'ai cité. Très bien. Très bien. Est-ce que nous pourrions maintenant adopter la décision dans sa globalité? Il y a le Bangladesh à rajouter, pardon. Il y a le Bangladesh. Donc tous les membres du comité. Et il y a le Vietnam. Le Vietnam. Voilà. Et effectivement, comme cela a été souligné, c'est magnifique de pouvoir adopter cet élément qui est le seul élément africain présenté à l'occasion de cette session, et je remercie infiniment l'ensemble des membres du comité pour leur soutien. Merci beaucoup. Donc je pense que nous pouvons adopter cette décision. Merci. Merci. La parole est à la Zambie.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity once again. I would like to thank all the committee members and all the countries from Africa and all the world that have given support to our file Kalela dance. This is one of the electric dances that are found in Zambia. We were so busy preparing to submit and to work with Botswana to the point where we forgot to give the video. But we are so excited without the video, and thanking the chair and the committee. Once again, it's a very big achievement for Zambia, and Zambia will be celebrating all the night. Thank you very much.
Mes plus sincères félicitations. Congratulations to Zambia. Congratulations. Maintenant, je vais demander à mon adjoint, j'ai un petit empêchement pour l'instant, à monsieur l'ambassadeur du Botswana de bien vouloir, vice-président du comité, de bien vouloir venir poursuivre la présidente des travaux. Donc il est allé saluer la Zambie. Je vais attendre qu'il revienne.
Okay. Distinguished colleagues, perhaps we can continue. I'm sure you can notice there's been a transformation of the chair. I've just taken my wig off. So we can begin by examining the nomination from Afghanistan, which appears as 7.B.36. The Behzad style of miniature, no, that's not it. Behzad style of miniature art. And I will turn to the chairperson of the evaluation body. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The next file, as you say, is Behzad style of miniature art submitted by Afghanistan. The tradition of miniature painting involves the painting of small, highly detailed, colorful, and intricate figures and scenes, which tell stories of social challenges, economic issues, and myths of the region, using pencil, brushes, natural pigments, and gold or silver leaves. The evaluation body considered that the information provided are not sufficient to consider satisfy all 5 criteria. The file does not provide sufficient details on the social function and cultural meanings of the element in the present day, and does not provide any proof of the participation of the community concerned in elaborating and implementing the safeguarding measures. For this reason, unfortunately, the evaluation body recommends that this nomination be referred to the submitting state. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Chairperson. The Bureau did not receive any request for debate or amendment for this file. The file has been. Can we have the draft decision on the screen, please?
Oh,
Can we adopt it as a whole? I see no objection. Adopted.
Adopted? This is very tricky.
However, Afghanistan would like to take the floor. Afghanistan, you have the floor.
Yeah. Dear Chairperson, dear honorable members of the evaluation body, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to take this opportunity on behalf of the Afghan delegation to UNESCO to express my deepest gratitude and appreciation to all of you.
I'm sorry, Afghanistan. I think you are speaking to the next file.
Is it adopted?
No, it's the one that we are discussing is the Berzat style of miniature art, which has been referred. And there were no amendments, so it's been referred. And I think the one you are trying to talk to is the next one. But perhaps you are preempting the decision. Unless you want to speak about the file that has just been referred.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I thought it was adopted. Okay, thank you very much.
Do you want to speak to the file? Of the
no,
miniature,
it's fine.
Of the miniature art.
Okay, all right. So I will actually, about this file, I will actually speak. Dear Chairperson, dear honorable members of the evaluation body, excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Afghanistan delegation to UNESCO, the concern raised by honorable members of the evaluation body in regards to the incompletion of the file will be taken into consideration. With the technical support of the UNESCO chair of Weimar University, Germany, Afghanistan will work on the required fulfillment necessary for the inscription of the file for the upcoming cycle. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next file is a multinational file submitted by the following countries. It's Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Iran, Islamic Republic of Iran, Turkey, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan. It has to deal with the sericulture and traditional production of silk for weaving. I hand the floor to the chair of the evaluation body.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As you say, the next file is sericulture and traditional production of silk for weaving, submitted by Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, the Islamic Republic of Iran, Turkey, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. The sericulture and traditional production of silk for weaving involve a series of practices that include traditional knowledge, practices, skills, and craft of the community concerned related to growing mulberry trees, braiding silkworms, and producing silk threads for weaving and other purposes. After initiating a dialogue process on criteria R3 and R4 related to the participation of the community in planning and implementing safeguarding measures, The evaluation body considered that all 5 criteria are met and recommends the inscription of this element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. The Bureau did not receive any request for debate or amendment for this file. So can we see it on the screen? Can we adopt it as a whole? I see no request for the floor. I therefore adopt it.
Turkey and Azerbaijan will take the first video. First video?
First, I believe there's a video for us to view. And then Turkey and Azerbaijan will take the floor.
Silk weaving masters are highly appreciated in society as talented carriers of complex skills and knowledge about nature. For craftsmen, making silk products is an important element of their role and their position in society, skills that they inherited from their ancestors.
امروزه در مناطق مختلف ایران پرورش کرم ابریشم میراثی زنده است و خانواده‌های بسیاری در این فعالیت نقش ایفا می‌کنند.
I give the floor to Turkey to...
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of Turkey, we would like to express our gratitude to the committee and the evaluation body for the inscription of the multinational nomination file of sericulture and traditional production of silk for weaving on the representative list. In all submitting states, silk culture, which includes the whole process from sericulture to end silk products, its transmission is conducted mostly through master-apprentice relationship for centuries. In all submitting states, silk producers are mostly villagers, and they work cooperatively, and they have special ceremonies for silk when it is produced. As a symbol of cultural diversity, the inscription of the element is a great opportunity to encourage all submitting states for safeguarding the element. We would like to thank our partners from Afghanistan, Azerbaijan, Islamic Republic of Iran, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan for their efforts on the preparation process. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I believe Azerbaijan wants to take the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dear committee members, dear colleagues, distinguished delegates, we joined the delegations of Turkey, Afghanistan, Iran, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan in expressing our deep gratitude to esteemed committee for inscribing sericulture and traditional production of silk for weaving on the representative list. The inscription of sericulture on the representative list will allow for greater dialogue between communities and practitioners of the submitting states. Deeply rooted in the traditions of the Great Silk Road, the element is an expression of cultural identity and century-old traditions. This inscription will stimulate further exchanges between countries and enhance intercultural cooperation, one of the core principles of the 2003 Convention. Azerbaijan wishes to thank evaluation body and committee for the excellent job and careful analysis of the multinational nomination and look forward to other joint nominations with the countries of the region. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much. Okay, we now turn to 7.B.38, Rai popular folk song from Algeria. I give the floor to the chair of the evaluation body.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Président. Comme vous avez dit, les dossiers suivants est les Rai, chansons populaires d'Algérie, proposées par l'Algérie. Les Rai est une forme de musique folkloriste qui est pratiquée lors des fêtes rituelles et des mariages dans toute l'Algérie. Moyen de véhiculer la réalité sociale sans tabou ni censure, la musique Rai aborde des thèmes que l'amour, la liberté, le désespoir et les pressions sociales. Après avoir initié un processus de dialogue sur les critères R3 relatifs à la participation des communautés dans la planification et la mise en œuvre des mesures de sauvegarde, l'organe d'évaluation a considéré que les 5 critères sont satisfaits et recommande l'inscription de cet élément sur la liste représentative. Merci, Monsieur le Président. Merci, Monsieur le Président.
Thank you very much, Chair. The Bureau did not receive any requests for debate or amendment of this file. I believe there's a video. Can we adopt the decision first? Any observations? None. I see none. Adopted. I believe there's a video.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سيدي الرئيس المحترم، أعضاء اللجنة المحترمون، ممثلي الدول الأعضاء في الاتفاقية الموقرون، السيدات الفضليات، السادة الأفاضل، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. في البداية تتقدم الجزائر باسم رئيس الجمهورية السيد عبد المجيد تبون وباسم حكومتها وشعبها بتشكراتها الخالصة لمنظمة اليونسكو نظير تسجيلها للراي غناء شعبي من الجزائر ضمن القائمة التمثيلية للتراث الثقافي اللامادي للإنسانية. الشكر موصول كذلك للجنة الحكومية الدولية المجتمعة في دورتها 17 وكذا اللجنة الحالية للتقييم نظير خبرتها الموضوعية والنزيهة التي حققت هذا الاحتراف الدولي. تشكراتنا العميقة موصولة كذلك إلى كل الدول التي ساندت هذا الترشح وكذا أمانت الاتفاقية للجهود المبذولة والعمل المنجز في جو التبادل والسماع والمرافقة. أيتها السيدات، أيها السادة، إن التزام الدولة الجزائرية بخدمة كل ما تباشر به اليونسكو من أجل الثقافة والتراث والفنون العالمية لا يخفى على أحد، ونحن نتمنى توسيع نطاقه أكثر من ذلك. فبكل فخر وشرف تستقبل الجزائر المركز المكلف تحت رعاية اليونسكو بالتراث الثقافي اللامادي لكل القارة الإفريقية، والذي سنعمل على تعزيزه بكل الوسائل الضرورية لضمان سيره بانتظام وكفاءة. إن تسجيل الراي كغناء شعبي من الجزائر على قوائم التراث اللامادي للإنسانية يشكل بالنسبة إلى الجزائر شهادة حاسمة باحتراف العالم بهذا النوع الثقافي والفني والموسيقي كرسالة صداقة وحب وسلم، رسالة هي في الحقيقة مهداة للعالم وللإنسانية جمعاء. فالرسالة التي يبلغها هذا الغناء الشعبي المنقول جيلا عن جيل والمنبعث باستمرار هو بمثابة الشاهد الذي يسجل الأحداث التاريخية وأحلام السلام ويتقن أداءها عبر الموسيقى، مانحا لها متنفسا ودفعا بكلمات وروح الشعب وبنغمات إنسانية تروي طموح الأجيال. يأخذ الراي إيقاعاته من جلال موروث مصنوع من طين، معطيا نفسا ابتدائيا لعازف القصبة، مسديا الإمتاع لمن يريد السماع، لمن يتمنى القسمة، لمن استهوته غفوة السحر في ترنيمة ناعمة، في انسجام مهذب وفي إيقاع ملائم. هكذا يمكن اليوم للراي الجزائري أن يساير باقي الغناء العالمي العريق الذي يؤدى من أجل الإثارة الساحرة المنسجمة مع ذوق الإنسان. مرة أخرى شكرا لكم جميعا، ودمتم في خدمة التراث الثقافي والإنسانية.
We now turn to 7.b.40. It's a multinational file from Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Hungary, Italy, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia, concerning Lipizan horse breeding traditions. The Bureau did not receive any request for debate or amendment. Oops. Sorry, I think I want to conclude the meeting. I'll give the floor to the chairperson of the evaluation body.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The next file is Lipizan horse breeding traditions, submitted by Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Hungary, Italy, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. The element represents the knowledge, practices, and skills relating to the breeding, caring, and training of Lipizan horses. The element is linked a range of cultural and social practices involving the Lipizan horses, and also initially the craftsmanship associated with the horse breeding. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria and highly appreciated close collaboration in the preparation of the file that serves as a good example for an extremely multinational nomination. The file demonstrates close collaboration among the submitting states in line with the 2003 Convention and show the meaning and the aim of multinational DCI. In conclusion, the evaluation body recommends the inscription of this element on the representative list. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much. The Bureau did not receive any request for debate or amendment for this file. May we have the draft decision on the screen, please? I see no objection. Can we adopt the draft decision as a whole. Adopted. We do have a video. I believe. Slovenia, you have asked for the floor. You have the floor.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairperson. Thank you for giving Slovenia the floor on behalf of 8 countries: Austria, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Croatia, Hungary, Italy, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia joined forces to highlight the wide range of cultural and social practices, knowledge and skills, oral traditions, festive events, and equestrian sports linked to the breeding of Lipizan horses. For centuries, the element has always united bearers, practitioners, and communities across Europe. They are the first caretakers of the Lipizan horse breeding, based on a trustful bond between human and horse, and of a shared cultural heritage that is jointly safeguarded across linguistic and national borders, thereby promoting dialogue and understanding. We thank the evaluation body for its positive recommendation, acknowledging the strong collaboration among the states that resulted in an exemplary nomination file. Furthermore, we thank the Intergovernmental Committee for the decision that makes us very proud today. In conclusion, you've already seen this short film that illustrates the rich, symbolic, and vivid element that now belongs to the intangible cultural heritage of humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Slovenia, and congratulations to the states. We now turn to 7.b.41. It's a multinational file from Austria, Czechia, Germany, Latvia, Poland, and Spain concerning timber rafting. I give the floor to the chair of the evaluation body.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As you say, the next file is timber rafting, submitted by Austria, Czechia, Germany, Latvia, Poland, and Spain. Timber rafting refers to the traditional knowledge and skills related to the construction and navigation of timber rafts on mainland waters. The practice includes constructing the raft, transporting logs, and knowledge of nature. The tradition has been cultivated for generations and remains strong thanks to continuous oral communication, observation, and participation, including throughout youth camps, local schools, festivals, and workshops. The evaluation body considered that the nomination meets all 5 criteria. The evaluation body also highly appreciated close collaboration in the preparation of the file and underlined that this nomination can serve as a good example of an exemplary multinational nomination. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you very much. Can we have the decision, the draft decision? And the Bureau did not receive any request for debate or amendment for this file. Can we ask may I therefore ask the committee to adopt the draft decision as a whole? I see no objection. Draft decision adopted. I believe there's a video for us to see.
We, the members of the International Association of Timber Raftsmen, are very proud that recognize timber rafting as intangible cultural heritage of humanity. It's a motivating moment for our community of raftsmen and raftswomen, which safeguards the skills and pass the experiences to the next generations. Thank you very much, UNESCO.
We, the Oberrautoler Flösser, representing the rafters in Austria, are thrilled that the practice of timber rafting is now accepted as a part of the representative list of intangible cultural heritage of humanity.
We, timber rafters of the Czech Republic, are extraordinarily happy now, because our dreams came true. Thank you, UNESCO. Thank you. Děkujeme.
Greetings from Latvian rafters. We are proud to continue our ancestors' traditions and maintain timber raftings. We are grateful to be a part of UNESCO.
On behalf of the different bearers and communities in Spain that have worked to achieve recognition of timber rafting as an element of the representative list of the intangible cultural heritage of humanity, we want to express our joy, confident that we have taken an important step for its transmission to generations in the future.
I believe there's Ambassador of Poland wants the floor. Your Excellency, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. President. And since this is the first time my delegation is taking the floor, let me express our deep appreciation for the Kingdom of Morocco for its enormous hospitality. Let me also, through you, congratulate the President of the Committee and all Vice Chairs members of the Bureau for your very able and skillful leadership of this session. I'm also very grateful to all our colleagues from Spain, Germany, Republic Czechia, Latvia and Austria for excellent cooperation and friendship that resulted in adoption
the timber rafting tradition today. And with your kind permission, Mr. President, let me pass the floor to Madam Joanna Cicha-Kuczyńska, the file coordinator. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Dear members of the committee, distinguished delegates, on behalf of 6 countries, Austria, Czechia, Germany, Latvia, Poland, and Spain, let me thank the Intergovernmental Committee for the inscription of timber rafting on the representative list of Intangible Cultural Heritage of Humanity. This is a significant moment we share today. Several years of joint effort, discussions, multinational cooperation have resulted in decision to inscribe the tradition, which shows respect to the natural resources and has close links with the sustainable use of the forces of nature. The Intangible Cultural Heritage highlights international perspective of mutual understanding and cooperation in safeguarding the tradition being transmitted from generation to generation. It is my great honor and privilege to have an opportunity to work together with the bearers, whose devotion to their tradition is very moving and hopeful for the next generations. As a coordinator, I would like to thank them very much for support, understanding, openness, and readiness to share their experience, knowledge, and awareness of importance of the local environment, communities, and teamwork. Thank you.
Dankeschön, Peter. Gracias.
Congratulations. We have been progressing very well this morning, thanks to your dedication and hard work that you have put in. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I believe we come to the end of our morning session. But before you leave the room, let me remind you of the side events that will continue to take place today during the lunch break. Although since I think everybody has been eating baguettes here, maybe we can forego the lunch. I see no one has taken the joke, but these are all announced on the calendar of events, and I would encourage all of you to take advantage of these events. We will meet again promptly at 2:30 p.m. and please try to be on time. Thank you very much. Bon appetit and enjoy your baguettes.